Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. A very good morning. G'day. This is Sheldon from Sydney Airport Aviation. We are ready for another day today. Still dark, and we are just waiting for a few arrivals and departures. We haven't really seen anything as of now, and we thought we may miss the first arrival, but seems to be we may have not, but we aren't too sure which side the arrivals are going to take place. Of course, it's going to take place from runway 34 as we see it. But what is exciting today is, of course, the Juneyao Air livery, the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which comes with the Oriental, the Ruby livery. However, we will see Emirates Boeing 777-300 for its flight to Dubai. As you all know, the capacity was reduced quite a bit, and now Dubai has been increasing it. And yesterday was the first 777-300 to land here in Sydney last night, and this morning it's going to be departing. So I hope you all will enjoy the live stream. Then let us see how everything works out. We haven't really had our breakfast, so we might as well just give it a go as we speak. Alrighty, let's get ready. We seem to be getting the first arrival, and whilst we are getting the arrivals, we will also have our breakfast. We didn't want to miss out, so we just carried our breakfast from McDonald's and we came out here, and hopefully everything's gonna go well. How is everyone doing? Where are you all joining us from? Hoping it's been wonderful for you all. We do have EK415 Sydney to Dubai on the Boeing 777, okay, 777, and we aren't making a mistake. It is indeed 777. So to begin with, today, Saturday 2nd May, the first arrival that we will have is EK412 Dubai to Sydney service on the Airbus A380, and most likely the first departure seems to be Sydney to Dubai. EK415 on the Boeing 777-300 Yes, guys and girls, everyone joining us, we aren't making a mistake. It is indeed a Boeing 777-300 Perhaps just a temporary thing until we get the A380s later on in the year, when the global situation improves. We all know what has happened out there, very sad, and our hearts go out to all the people affected by the war. But at the same time, yes, that is what it is. What we will do is, we'll get a good look of the Boeing 777. Of course, the sun hasn't risen, so we aren't going to get that bright look as such. But we will still capture it because, the last time we happened to see a Boeing 777 of Emirates was just before the Australian borders would open after the COVID lockdown. That is in December of 2021. So let us get the first look of the Boeing 777. Here you are. For those who love the Boeing 777, you know this is a dream come true, because we thought we would never ever see a Boeing 777 of Emirates here in Sydney again, but here we are, we already have it. We'll come to this Boeing 777 a bit later. Let's capture the first arrival of the day. EK 412 Dubai to Sydney on its Airbus A380. So to begin with, today's day begins with the Emirates brothers. Emirates A380, you see there it is having touchdown. And we will see on screen the other Emirates brother, the Boeing 777 out there getting ready for departure. Super lovely, super lovely. What a great way to start the weekend. What a great way to start Saturday. We do have Denpasar to Sydney service, QF44 coming in on the Airbus A330-300 of Qantas, but I believe it's going to be on runway 34 right, so we may not get a good view of it. Okay, QF44 is on runway 34L, so I was wrong about that. So we should be getting that arrival out there. There's the second heavy arrival of the day. Lovely QF44 from Denpasar, Indonesia. As you all can see, we don't have the best of the visuals as of now, and that's because of the daylight situation. However, the sun will rise at 6:30 and then we should be getting a very good view shortly. Wow, there's a One World livery. Then, as you all may have heard, a bit of the noise with the noise of the thrust reversers, and that's because it rained very lightly in Sydney overnight, so the roads, the runways would be wet, so probably that's why they're just using extra power, I guess. Good morning everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are waiting the arrival of QF42, Jakarta to Sydney. We just had Denpasar to Sydney, now Jakarta to Sydney. And the Fiji Airways service to Nadi. Alrighty everyone, we will soon be getting to the comments section as well, so please leave your comments. We will be reading each and every one of them shortly. It's been great to come here once again. We did stream this past Monday and we are streaming again today. How good is that? What a smooth landing that is. I'm pretty sure we are going to get some great visuals later this year. Let's just say from about third week of September, or perhaps we can even say mid-September, so that's the second week of September. We really should get some great visuals considering the fact that the sun is going to rise pretty much earlier at that time. So yeah, let us see. We do have Emirates, we'll capture Emirates departure, and then we have Singapore Airlines arrival as well, SQ221, the Airbus A380 service. We all know of those services because they're so popular. So hoping you all are enjoying this thing of ours, the really great arrival and departures action that we are bringing to you today. Alrighty, EK415 has begun its takeoff roll. Boeing 777-300ER. It's not often you see Emirates Boeing 777-300ER here in Sydney. In fact, all services are permanently an Airbus A380 until now, which is a temporary addition. Replacement, I would say, not an addition. Superb. How good was that? We do have the Airbus A380 coming. We have the Fiji to Nadi service, but not too sure whether they will be allowed to move first prior to Singapore Airlines A380. I believe not, but I could be wrong always. Welcome everyone. Welcome to this live stream today. How are you all doing? I hope it's been a great start to the weekend for all of you. And indeed, we should be able to bring some great visuals for you all. Of course, the star of the show today should be Juneyao Air, the Boeing 777, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. But let us see, I don't know how the lighting conditions would be. Of course, if we are lucky enough to get some great lighting conditions, we will not complain whatsoever. So, it all depends. Alrighty, let's get SQ221 in frame. That's the Airbus A380 regular daily service departing Changi Airport in Singapore at 8:20 p.m. every evening. Second Airbus A380 in less than 15 minutes since we started streaming. Wow. So we've had two A330s of Qantas come in from Denpasar and Jakarta, and two A380s, one of Emirates from Dubai, and this is the second A380 of the day from Singapore Changi International Airport. Welcome to Sydney. Super lovely. Good morning, Sinal. Good morning. Very warm welcome to you once again. Very nice. Good morning, Ashley. Wow. So we did capture your cousin on that Emirates A380 flight. Wow. Super lovely. I'm glad we could capture the arrival of your cousin. I hope you can let your cousin know, and maybe your cousin can go have a look at his flight or her flight arriving from Dubai. How good was that? I'm really very happy. Yep. So Sinal does say that Sinal's birthday is on 12th of May. Sinal has had breakfast. Yes, and also the smoke that we saw, we did capture that on stream as well, but it was nothing serious as such. It just seems to be that they were burning some sort of thing, but it was a controlled burning, it was a controlled fire, so there was nothing to worry whatsoever. I think it did come on one of the news, but they did mention that it was nothing to worry at all. Fiji Airways service to Nadi. So yes, they did mention that there was nothing to worry at all, considering the fact that it was a controlled fire, and all safety authorities had been briefed about it. All of the procedures were followed. So yes, it was very controlled. There was nothing at all to worry about. Oh yes, indeed, it is a great day, Sinal. It's been wonderful. It has been super wonderful. Yes, and we did catch you the Fiji Airways just now, if you saw. So, we are pleased that we could capture that for you. We also captured the A380, like you mentioned. So it's been wonderful, actually, very nice that we could capture all of these aircraft for you all. And yes, we will be coming with more of that aircraft action too. All right, what do we have next? Shanghai to Sydney. This is what we have been here for, Juneyao Air. However, prior to that, we do have the Shenzhen service, China Southern Airlines, coming in from Shenzhen. That is on the Airbus A330-300. And here you go. Let's get ready for this arrival. Yeah. How many of you all love the sound? Look at the thrust reversers pushing out that water. Super wonderful. China Southern Airlines CZ3071. We do have a departure, I believe, Sydney to Cannes service on Jetstar JQ 950 before we finally get the arrival of the Oriental Ruby livery on Juneyao Air. And it's going to be wonderful. We aren't going to get a very good look because, as you know, the sun rises late here in Sydney during this time of the year, April, May, June, and then from end of June onwards, about little after the third week of June, the sun starts rising one minute early, and it goes on until about mid of September, when we do happen to get good daylight. Let's just say about 10 minutes past 6 or so. So, come September of this year, we will be getting even much more greater visuals. However, just don't worry, because, the Juneyao Air, we will be capturing its departure as well. And its departure is going to be nice broad day sunlight. So we will get a very good look of it. Sydney to Cannes service on Jetstar. Alrighty, let's get ready for the special livery of the day. Juneyao Air, Oriental Ruby livery, Shanghai to Sydney on the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, registered as B20EC, sorry, my apologies for that. And it's just about 6 years old, built in February of 2020, just when COVID was about to hit its peak. So I'm pretty sure, even though it's 6 years old, it hasn't really done much of flights, considering any other plane that would have done as much. Thanks Ashley. I'm glad you can show her our live stream, and I wish your cousin a very nice arrival here into Sydney. I wish her all the very best. It's been great. We have all been so much worried about the situation in Dubai. So wherever your cousin has come from, whether she has just transited through Dubai or come from elsewhere in Europe or anywhere else in the world, I'm glad she is back and going to be having a great time. There's nothing better than being home, right, Ashley? And Juneyao, yeah, the Oriental Ruby livery. Woohoo! The special livery here on Sydney Airport Aviation. Yeah, this is the best what we can get for now. But don't worry, we will capture its departure later in the day, and it's going to be nice and bright then. Of course, I think we are going to be having a cloudy day, but that doesn't really affect much, because as long as we have the daylight out here, it's going to be wonderful, right? Yes, and also I did say that possibly it could be a fire or something, but then the fact that we didn't hear any emergency services or anything as such, I did believe that it could possibly be a controlled fire, but I didn't want to say anything because we don't really want to spread any rumors whatsoever. So considering the situation and all, we just left it at that. And I do recollect I went home and I was just browsing through the news, and I did see that one of the news articles did post that there was a bit of smoke out there, but there was no cause of concern because it was a controlled burning sort of a thing. So yes, if anyone from Port Botany or anyone with knowledge of the matter knows what exactly it was, please comment and let us know. We would be appreciative of the fact. Alright, how is everyone doing? I hope you all are having a great start to the weekend. To all those joining us from the different parts of the world, welcome. I hope you all are having a great Friday evening, a great Friday afternoon, especially viewers from North America, South America, to our viewers from the whole of Europe. Wishing you a very good evening. I hope you all are having a great Saturday evening. To all our viewers from Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and all the oceanic countries, wishing you a very, very good morning. Welcome to the stream. You're at Sydney Airport Aviation. I hope you all are doing well and are excited about the stream. We started just about half an hour ago, I believe, and we plan to stream for quite some time out here today. So let us see how everything goes. QF76 from Vancouver to Sydney on the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, registered as VHZNI. Oh yes, I love this. Alright, so as we speak and as we see this Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner slowing down on runway 34L, I just want to let everyone know that we will be streaming most likely even tomorrow morning. Perhaps for those joining us from other parts of the world, let's just say we will be streaming 24 hours from now again. We don't know if we are going to bring the evening live stream today and how much of it we would be bringing, but I do hope that you all could join us tomorrow. Hopefully we get some special liveries. It's been a while since we last spotted. In fact, we spotted Cathay Pacific's 80th anniversary livery on the A350 just once, so hopefully we can spot it again. But apart from that, yeah, I do hope you all can join us for another aviation adventure out here. Let us have a look at the ATC tower. Here you are with a nice Audi in front of us, nice and green color. Whoever it is, congratulations mate, your car looks super good, super nice. Lovely color. And yes, we can see through the glasses of the ATC tower. Like I did mention, we don't always get that view later on in the day when it gets nice and bright, but for now we do get it, so let us enjoy it. The next arrival on runway 34L is KE401 Seoul Incheon to Sydney on Korean A. And that's the new livery, so let us hope we get some very good view. It's getting brighter, that means we will be getting a much better visuals, a much better visual of this aircraft. And as it gets much more brighter throughout the morning, we will just be much more happier to get all of those planes in nice bright light. That is the Boeing 787-10 of Korean Air. Wonderful, isn't it? And then you all know what we are getting next. JL51 Haneda to Sydney service on Japan Airlines. Once again, wonderful service, wonderful airline. Japan Airlines coming in from Tokyo Haneda. Apparently, I don't think we have a Tokyo Narita service out here from Japan. I do believe that most people would like to travel from Tokyo Haneda for the very fact that Tokyo Haneda is an airport which is so close to the city center compared to Tokyo Narita, which is in a totally different prefecture, and that is Shiba Prefecture. So yes, that's how it is. But yeah, regardless, we aren't complaining. If we do get a service from Tokyo Narita as well, that would be great. I do know a lot of people travel from Tokyo Narita too, but that's how it is. Slots, services, filling up, profitability. There's a lot of things to consider. So let us see. Each airline to their own, and profits aside, it also needs to be viable, right? You need people out there. You need people to feel comfortable traveling. Now, don't get me wrong. When you do travel from Tokyo Haneda to Tokyo Narita, you have the limousine service of the buses, etc. But yeah, the thing is, you need to get that many people, but most people prefer Tokyo Haneda, including myself, because close to the city center and things like that. Alrighty, JL51 Tokyo Haneda to Sydney on the Boeing 777-300ER. Hello UWE, hello, how are you doing? I believe it's getting nice and warm in Germany. Of course, not summer yet, but I do believe you're going to be having some nice, great weather out there. UWE, I hope everything goes well with all of you. Hey Sinai, yes, I do know you told me about your birthday last week, so I'm glad, and I hope and wish you a very great birthday on the 12th of May, which is not too far away, about 10 days from now. Hello Modified, hello. How are you doing, Modified? I hope you all are having a great time. And Modified, I'm wishing you a very, very good morning from here in Sydney. We do have an A380 arrival coming in shortly, so we will be capturing that one. Singapore to Sydney service, QF82 of Qantas. Alrighty, let's just go capture the arrival. And that's the third A380 service of today. How good is that? Less than half an hour since the curfew began, ended, less than half an hour since daily operations began, and here we are with the third A380 service. That just shows how busy Sydney airport is. Wow, look at that nice sunlight out in the sky, the sunlight peeking through the clouds. Ain't it wonderful? 6:29 a.m. right now, 2nd May 2026. Alright, I'm not too sure why that bin chicken or perhaps any other bird, whichever bird that is making such noise. Alrighty, we do have 2 departures, Sydney to Perth service on Virgin Australia, Sydney to Denpasar on Jetstar, Airbus A321. I think one of the departures is going to take place, another one will wait for the arrival of CX111 on the Airbus A350 of Cathay Pacific from Hong Kong. Wishing you everyone a very, very good morning. How is everyone doing? I hope you all are having a great start to the weekend. We are here at Sydney Airport live. It's just almost 40 minutes since we started streaming out here. It's 6:30 and the sun has just risen. Wow, superb, super lovely. So yes, we do have the Airbus A321, the Denpasar service of Jetstar, as you can see on the lower left of the screen, but I do believe we will capture the arrival first. Because the departure may take a while and they don't want another go around. We've seen a couple of go arounds in the last few months out here. Okay, Sinal says the big island name is called Viti Levu, if that's the way I'm pronouncing it, and if that's right, wonderful. If not, I'm sorry and apologies, but please let me know how you pronounce it. Viti Levu. Sinal also says Suva is the capital city of Fiji. Yes, we do know that, Sinal. And yep, so Sinal says Sinal is from Victoria Road, Punchbowl. Alrighty, let's capture this arrival. CX111 Hong Kong to Sydney service on the Airbus A330-900. What a wonderful landing that is. Beautiful. I did mention this last week and I'm mentioning it again today. Cathay Pacific's A350, even without a livery, you know, just as is, looks wonderful. So you can imagine how much more beautiful the lettuce leaf livery, that is the 80th anniversary retro livery, looks. You know, it's super wonderful. Only ever seen it once and I do hope I can see it again. Hopefully we do see it. Alright, Kuala Lumpur service coming in on MH251, Malaysia Airlines, Bangkok service, that's QF24 on Qantas, AC33, the usual Vancouver to Sydney service on Air Canada, Boeing 777-200. Yeah, there is quite a lot coming in there. This is the Denpasar service on the A321. Wow, we can just stare at this screen for a while and just enjoy. How good is that, right? But we aren't here for that. because we are here to bring all of the aviation action to you all. MH251 Malaysia Airlines service from Kuala Lumpur. Very nice. I love these aircraft coming in at this time of the day, getting that nice silhouette and things like that. It really looks very wonderful and beautiful. Okay, what we do see on the other side, QF20, the Manila service on the Airbus A330 of Qantas. We will see it passing through in front of us when it does taxi to Terminal 1, because it does have quite a bit of taxiing, considering the fact that runway 34 right, the one that it's landing on right now, is further away from Terminal 1, just more towards the eastern side of the terminal. I'm glad at least we can get some really good view of the plane even from here. It's not as bright as we thought it would be, but it's good enough. But let us capture the sun. It's just peeking out through the clouds. Okay, and we do get the ATC tower. Yes, Sinile, we did capture Cathay Pacific. It was great to capture it. QF24 Bangkok to Sydney service on the Airbus A330-300. Alrighty, we were just adjusting the aperture on the camera. This seems to be perfect for the lighting conditions. Of course, later on we will be changing it so that we get much more clearer images. So yes, stay tuned with us. Alright, Air Canada service from Vancouver. What we see in the background is Qantas A330-300 service from Manila, like we did mention earlier. Did I say A330-300? I'm sorry, that's A330-200. But let us pan around and let us capture the next arrival. Wishing everyone a very, very good morning. How are you all doing? We are live here from Sydney Airport, just about 48 minutes since we started streaming. What we see on screen right now is AC-33 Vancouver to Sydney service on Air Canada. Yes, has smoked the wheels. Then Passat to Sydney, JQ38 on the Airbus A321. We just had one depart here out of Sydney, and now we are going to be having the arrival. We do have quite a bit of those departure and arrival action happening out here, so we are happy to capture it all. Okay, there's more cloud cover out there. I did see the weather that said that it's going to be a bit cloudy, at least for the first half of the day. So let us hope, let us just hope that we do get some great visuals. We don't mind the cloud actually at times, because especially in the morning time when we film from here, we happen to get that silhouette effect on the planes, usually when the sun rises. So if it does indeed stay as a cloudy day, it just works better for us, considering the fact that we won't get that silhouette effect and we'll get a much better look at the planes. However, that's not always the case, because let's just say in the afternoon time or so, if it's way too cloudy, especially the dark clouds, that is going to cause an issue for us, because who loves a totally dark plane, right? We do want to see that nice bright light shining, especially on the big yellow fella that is Scoot. Of course, Scoot has named one of its Boeing 787-9s as Big Yellow Fella, but I keep calling all of them a Big Yellow Fella because they are nice and yellow and bright. Likewise, similar to Scoot, even Cebu Pacific has a nice bright livery. And the A321 service. Nice and quiet arrival, I believe. Not much of the thrust reverse is used, probably just a idle thrust, or perhaps a little more, maybe 20% of the thrust. Alrighty, done with that one light arrival. You do see a bird in the sky. And on the right side, extreme right side of the screen, we do see a plane coming in, GA714 Garuda Indonesia from Denpasar. Hello everyone, wishing everyone a very, very good morning. How is everyone doing? Alright, Sunil does say that smoke, they can smell smoke. Please stay safe, Sunil. I hope everything's going well out there in Punch Bowl. I hope everything is nice and safe. Hopefully it's just one of those, small fireworks sort of a thing that people usually use. But if anything else, I do wish you all safety as much as you all can be. Sunil says rain was falling in the area in Punch Bowl last night. Yes, indeed, Sunil. Even over here, as we speak, we see the roads are wet. We did see one of the planes coming in and using its thrust reversers, and water was splashing all across. So, literally drying the runway, sort of a thing. So, yes, indeed, it did rain, but seems to be today that it's going to be a nice one. Of course, if it rains, we will have to end the stream, discontinue the stream as of whenever it starts raining, but the weather doesn't specify any rain, and that's the reason we are here streaming for today. But in the rare case that the rain does come in, yeah, we will have to discontinue the stream. But for now, let us enjoy. Airbus A330-300 of Garuda, Indonesia from Denpasar. So the thing that's happening here is I need to adjust the level all the time, because as I adjust it, then it does get a bit slanting. So let me tighten up the tripod stand. This seems to be good. Hopefully that's going to work and not cause too much issues. And at the same time, we will just adjusted, bend it down a bit, and I do think we do have issues with, perhaps the issue is not with the camera as I see, the level marker says it's totally level, but as we pan around, you see the thickness of those rocks, so the underlying part of it does get much more thicker, and that's the reason why. Cool. Lovely and good to know that after so many months of streaming out here. All right, what do we have? 73 American Airlines Los Angeles to Sydney service. Okay, just the sun out there. Good morning everyone, wishing you all a very good morning. Thank you very much for joining us today on this live stream, Saturday, 2nd of May 2026. We are filming all the departures and arrivals of the morning until about early afternoon, and we did capture quite a bit. It's just been about 57 minutes since we started streaming, so I hope you all will like the stream. You'll know what to do. If you all are enjoying the stream, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your mates, and let's just hope we can bring all of the action to you. We do have a special livery aircraft, the Oriental Ruby livery of Juneyao Air, that we captured earlier today as it arrived, and we will be capturing its departure as well. QF128 Hong Kong to Sydney service on the Airbus A330-300. Lovely. That is super wonderful. Got another Airbus A330-300. And yes, we should be getting a lot more of the heavy arrivals, departures. And let us see what else we can get. QF 1814 Canberra to Sydney service. That's going to be on an Embraer E190AR. Going to be quite a small one, but it's going to be good. You know, usually we don't really get all of these aircraft out here. So yeah, in a way, it's going to be a good one. Okay, whilst we are just waiting for some action, let's capture this plane. Yeah, we just have to tweak our aperture every now and then just because we aren't getting the correct lighting conditions. Until it gets a bit more brighter, we will have to play around, but I think, let's just say in the next hour or so, we should be totally fine with it. We don't even need to play around, because as the sun rises and we keep getting more of that daylight, it's going to get wonderful. Alrighty, let's capture the Embraer E190AR Qantas Link Canberra to Sydney service, VHVXO. And it's a 19-year-old plane from 2007. Okay, we do see some people at the beach early this morning. Yeah, it seems to be a bit quiet now, considering the first 40-50 minutes went well. It was crazy busy, and yeah, it's really good that we could capture all of that action for you. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be any more busy. It literally will be busy. It's just one of those departure slots, the first arrival slots. The departure slots not as much, but the arrival slot could be a bit too crazy after the curfew ends. Yay! Whoa! So nice to catch that departure. Super lovely. Wishing everyone a very good morning. How is everyone doing? I hope you all are having a great time and a great start to Saturday morning. I think earlier in the stream I did mention that today's Sunday. That's probably because we are so used to streaming on a Sunday. Okay, the Los Angeles service, DL41 on this way, same service. Regular viewer Jeff will be arriving next Saturday. from Los Angeles, so hopefully it's going to be the same runway in use and the weather is going to be good enough, and if it is, we should be able to capture the arrival next Saturday morning too. Very nice, very nice. Delta Airlines DL41 from Los Angeles, California. Of course, we will hope to capture the aircraft next week as well, because next week we have Jeff coming in. So hopefully, yes, we could get a good one. The weather does say that next Saturday seems to be a wonderful day. 20-degree temperatures, 20-degree highs, low of 9 degrees, nice and sunny. So yeah, we just hope everything goes well. Hopefully it's not windy. You know, there's a lot of variables, and the weather can change at short notice too. So what we see on the weather app right now wouldn't be the exact same later on in the week. So you know, that's another thing for us to consider. Alrighty, Santiago to Sydney service. Coming in on LATAM Airlines LA809. LA809 from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia. Yep, there you go. Today it's a bit late, 6:58 a.m. arrival. Usually it arrives about 6:45. I do recollect on this past Monday, it arrived at 6:46 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, let's turn our attention to the departing aircraft out here. Sydney to Townsville service on JQ 912 Airbus A330-200. We do have a bit of heavy arrivals coming in later. We do have another Canberra to Sydney service on Link Airways, and after that we should be having the San Francisco service coming in on United Airlines UA863. That was a wonderful rotation. Get it nice and early and see it climbing up. Usually love that. And another airline that usually does it for us is Emirates on its Airbus A380 when it departs for Christchurch. As you all know, the Christchurch service is not too heavily patronized, I would say, and considering the fact that an A380 has so much thrust of power, so many pound-feet of thrust, and at the same time it being so powerful and light, an A380 has so many 100,000 liters of capacity to carry fuel because they do really long distances. I have seen the A380 of Qantas almost 17 hours flight from Dallas Fort Worth to Sydney. The longest I've been on an A380 is 16 hours between Los Angeles and Dubai. So you can imagine they are capable of doing that much of kilometers, which means they carry hundreds of thousand liters of fuel. And the very fact that the Sydney to Emirates service EK412 will just go between Sydney and Christchurch, you can understand they wouldn't be carrying that much of fuel, right? And the fact that they don't carry as much fuel, that means they are much lighter. No matter, even if they are a full flight, they still have plenty of space and empty space in the belly of the plane for the fuel, and that itself makes it quite exciting for them. Not exciting, it makes it quite light and makes it quite exciting for us, in fact, to see its rotation quite early, especially when it departs from runway 34. Hopefully the runways won't change and we still will get that view of Emirates aircraft. 1 minute past 7. Now it's 2 minutes past 7 on Saturday, 2nd May 2026. Wishing everyone a very good morning. I hope you all are having a great start to the day, a great start to the weekend. How is everyone doing? I hope you all are going to be having a great and nice relaxing weekend. Hopefully meeting friends, meeting with family, going out for lunches, dinners, a drive, maybe a weekend outing. What is everyone up to? I hope you all will be enjoying it to the fullest. Whoa, San Francisco to Sydney service seems to be arriving on a runway 34 right, which means we aren't going to get much visuals of the plane. But that doesn't stop us, because we do know that it will pass by in front of us as it taxis to the terminal. Hello, Will Metal. Sorry, I'm not too sure how to pronounce the name. Should be Wim Telerio from Chile, Brazil. Hello. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great time, and I hope everything is going well. Hopefully you're having a great Friday afternoon out there in Chile. Okay, Sinal says they will tune for the next week plane spotting on Saturday, 9th of May. Okay, sure, Sinal, have fun, take care of yourself. I hope you have a great week ahead. We will be streaming until about early afternoon today, as well as we will be streaming tomorrow. Most likely, if weather permits us, we may stream, or if it doesn't, we may not, but most likely we may stream tomorrow as well. So yeah, do stay tuned with us, Sinal. It's always lovely having you on this stream and to listen to all of your stories and a lot of that history out there. So it's really great. We do enjoy, and I believe a lot of others enjoy your stories too. So thank you very much for sharing it with us, Sinal. Okay, AJ Writer says United Airlines UA863 arriving from San Francisco. Yes, we do have it right now on screen. We couldn't capture the arrival properly because it arrived on runway 34R, which is the further runway from us. But yeah, we did capture it, and we see it on screen right now. Arriving from San Francisco. Yes, distance 7,435 miles. Yes, that is like a pretty long one, AJ Writer. Yeah, indeed. Boeing 787-9, correct, registered as N24993. And age is 1 year. Wow, so that's a pretty new plane, isn't it? I'm glad that's like a brand new plane. Yeah, March of 2025 with 276 seats. Well, what's happening there? What is happening there? Why is United not coming through? Oh, okay, cool. They're just turning and stuff like that. For a moment I didn't see it on screen, so I was just wondering, like, are they turning? Okay, Sinal says, I will be watching next week show plane spotting on YouTube with Wi-Fi, YouTube, TVG on television and mobile phones. Okay, from Sinal. Rashid Hamid Hussain from Punchbowl. Yeah, sure, Sinal, in fact, we are happy when you watch our live shows out here. We will be streaming most likely maybe tonight or even tomorrow. We don't really know as of now. You know, we usually try making that decision quite early on, but for today and tomorrow we don't really know much, considering the fact that we are streaming right now. But yes, please feel free to join us. It would be really lovely for you to come on our stream, especially on the 9th of May, which is so close to your birthday, just 3 days away from your birthday. And hopefully, you know, we can wish you a happy birthday on our stream next week. So yes, and I'll have a wonderful day, have a wonderful time. I hope you have a great start to the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Have a great time in Punchbowl. If it does rain later on in the day, please stay dry, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much, Sinal, for joining. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful time, and wishing you and your family a great day. United Boeing 787-9. Just like AJ Writer mentioned to us, it's a 1-year-old aircraft, super new. Looks wonderful. If the sun was shining nice and bright, this United Airline plane would look much better. But not that it doesn't look good at all. It looks wonderful. And wishing everyone a very good morning, a warm welcome to our live stream and live show here at Sydney Airport Aviation. We are glad to be welcoming you all on this live show and live stream. I hope you all have a great time out here. We do plan to stream all morning long, but of course, like I always say, it depends on quite a lot of variables, and that does include the weather. Weather is of course the biggest variable for us. Apart from the weather, another thing could be the internet connectivity. I do recollect last Saturday the internet connectivity was so bad. We shouldn't have continued the stream for the first hour itself, but we did try pulling until about 3 hours into the stream, but at 3-hour mark it went totally absurd. We were having speeds of 184 kbps, so could you just imagine a 5G connectivity giving us that type of speed wouldn't even be offered on a 2G connectivity elsewhere in the world. Of course, Australia has discontinued the 2G and 3G services, but if you go to the United States, you have 3G services. I do believe quite a lot of other countries in the world, they do have 2G. Plenty of countries in Europe would be having 2G as well, though of course 5G is more prevalent right now. 2G in many countries have not been discontinued, and even 2G services are not as ridiculous as what we had last week. So definitely that's something that we couldn't really continue with, and we ended the stream last Saturday. But of course then Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Monday morning, when we streamed, the network issue had resolved itself. It wasn't resolved completely, but we did get higher speeds compared to what we were usually getting. And for today, it seems to be okay, but still not up to the mark. That thing has always been persistent. I do notice that on weekdays, the internet connectivity is much better compared to the weekends. So, that likely just confirms our theory, where we do mention that quite a lot of these times it is a lot of phones connecting to the same network, and that causes the issue in the first place, because the bandwidth is divided between so many other phones. So yeah, it's a pretty normal thing for us, but sometimes it can get really crazy, like that past Saturday. Apart from that, I don't think we would be complaining too much. Alrighty, we haven't captured the Melbourne to Sydney service at all since we started the stream today. So here we are capturing the first Melbourne to Sydney service. Jetstar JQ500 on the Airbus A330-200, registered as VHVGD. Let us check the age of the aircraft. That is built in December of 2010, 15 years old. Alrighty, we do have VJ85 Vietjet Air coming in from Ho Chi Minh City on the Airbus A330-300. Let us capture that one, and then we'll just go for a short water break. Just be having some water before we do get the other peak arrival action. Alrighty, let us also capture this. We won't get the full takeoff roll because they aren't using the full runway. So Rex Sydney to Griffith service on Saab 340B, registered as VHVNA, and the age of the aircraft is 34 years old. Wow, April of 1992. Alrighty, let us wait for Vietjet Air before we go for a short water break. Hello everyone, hello, wishing everyone a very, very good morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, joining us from everywhere in the world. We are streaming live from Sydney's International Airport. We are awaiting the arrival of Vietjet Air from Ho Chi Minh City, one of the two carriers serving Ho Chi Minh City, and the other one, of course, is Vietnam Airlines. Yeah, there you go. Wonderful. I do believe last Sunday we had the Petrolimex sticker livery that we got in the morning. Today's one seems to be just the usual livery. We've captured the Petrolimex livery though quite many times last week on our live stream, like I just mentioned. Wow, in the background we see a takeoff as well. And we also captured it on our YouTube shorts too. So 3 aircraft in one frame. Alrighty, so we will just go for a short water break. We will zoom out a bit, and that looks way too bright, I believe. Yeah, this looks perfect. So yeah, please stay with us. We will just have a short water break and be back. Alrighty guys, we are back from the water break. You all may have seen us at the bin. We were just getting rid of the waste after having our McDonald's breakfast earlier this morning. Like I said, we started having our breakfast once we started the stream because we didn't really want to miss out on the action. We just carried our breakfast from, we picked it up from McDonald's, carried it along with us, sat in the car, came over here, set up our tripod and all the other equipment. And we didn't want to miss any of that action. Of course, we were quite early actually, but we did went to fuel up a car, and you all know the fuel prices are like total crazy. Wow, another time maybe we have 3 planes in frame now, 2 and finally 1. Yeah, so we did go to fill up fuel and stuff like that. So because of that, we did get a bit delayed. When we say get delayed, filling up fuel in your car doesn't take too long, especially at I think 50 minutes past 4. You don't really take much time, right? Because there's not very many people out there. But the very fact that we had to drive about let's say a kilometer off our route and then come back again another kilometer, that does add up a bit. Again, there's no traffic, like I said, and no people as well. So yes, it's not much, but it does add up to the calculation, and that is what we did. We had a perfect calculation this morning and everything went well. And usually we used to have our breakfast at McDonald's earlier and then come over and set up our stuff, but then this past Monday we have started it the other way, where we will come set up our stuff here and then have breakfast, so that in that case we don't miss out. And that's the reason why we do it, is because last Saturday when we came out here, we were obviously expecting planes to land after 6, but we do know curfew, a limited number of flights can arrive and depart from over the sea, out over the sea. And we did have British Airways come in at 5:45, so that was crazy. Of course, I do believe British Airways already arrived before us, and even QF2, I believe, because though they would be the limited number of aircraft that were allowed to arrive quite early. And I don't know why, I just feel that I want to capture them tomorrow. So I do believe that they may have arrived, let's just say about 5:10 a.m., which is quite early. But let me check flight radar to see what time they would have arrived. Hopefully we can capture them tomorrow. That's going to be very crazy, considering the fact that after we capture those aircraft, then we won't have very many of the other aircraft for until about 6 o'clock in the morning. But yes, it will be good to know. Probably we can just get a good view of it and maybe learn a bit more too. But again, when I do say all of that, that does mean that we have to be quite early, and I'm not too sure if we would be allowed to be in the first place. But anyway, wishing everyone a very, very good morning. I hope you all are having a great start to the day. We've been streaming for a little over 1 hour and 30 minutes now. It's been a wonderful start, very heavy arrivals and departures. Of course, we didn't capture the 5:10 a.m. Arrival, that is 5:42 a.m. Singapore service on the Airbus A380, but we do plan to capture it tomorrow, so hopefully we can do that. As well as Singapore Airlines arrived, not Singapore Airlines, British Airways from Singapore arrived at 5:34 a.m. So yeah, those limited number of arrivals that are allowed over the sea is something that we want to capture tomorrow. So tomorrow we may start streaming quite early. Of course, it's not a promise at this stage, because there's a lot of variables, etc., that we need to consider. So let us see how everything goes, but if not tomorrow, then definitely on one of those other days. Hello, Johan. Hello. Greetings from Amsterdam. Good morning. Hello, Johan. Good evening. How are you doing, Johan? I hope you are having a great time, and thanks for joining us on our show out here. It's been a pleasure to see you out here, Johan. I'm glad we have viewers from all across the world. We have viewers from United States, Chile, Brazil, Canada. We have a viewer now from Amsterdam. Thank you very much, Johan. Appreciate it. Thank you. We do have viewers from Japan. Usually our Japanese viewers log in quite early. Today we don't see any of them, or perhaps they haven't yet commented. So yeah, if you are watching from Japan, come on, send us a like, send us a comment, let us know where you are watching from. Everyone watching the stream, comment and let us know where you are watching from. Do we have any of our New Zealand viewers just across the ditch? How many of you are watching us from New Zealand? Say hi. And yeah, how many of you are watching us from the Middle East, from Dubai, Qatar? We do have quite a lot of viewers out there as well. And how many of you are watching us from Sydney, Melbourne? Come on, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your mates. In fact, comment so that we know where you are watching from. But yeah, Johan, I hope you're having a great time and a great Friday evening. And Johan, we will be streaming once again tomorrow. So if you like our stream, please feel free to join us tomorrow as well. Okay, we are waiting a few arrivals, a few departures. What we see right now is the Livery to Sydney service. Quite cloudy out today. Always nice to capture the Dash 8-400. Okay, let's get ready for the departure. Sydney to Adelaide service, again one of the first for the day. Or perhaps at least one of the first that we are filming here on runway 34L. I pretty much would believe that there would be quite a lot of them that would have already have departed from runway 34 right. Oh yes, got that rotation. Super lovely. As I always say, when we get to see that rotation, it has to be super lovely. Alright, what do we have next? Wagga Wagga to Sydney service on QLK 2220. That is Qantas Link operated by Sunstate Airlines on the Dash 8-400. We just captured one Dash 8 prior to that departure that we just saw, and this is another arrival. So we had captured the arrival of Dash 8 from Livery just prior to the departure of Sydney to Adelaide service on Virgin Australia VA404, and this is another one, QLK 2220. Let us check the age of the aircraft as we speak. 20 years, December of 2005. Okay, pretty much quite a lot of that cloud cover. Let us see what else we can capture. Currently, not very many heavy arrivals. Of course, we are going to get OZ601 Asiana Airlines on the Boeing 777-200 from Seoul Incheon in the next minute or so. But yeah, we are waiting for more of that action to come through. Alrighty, we don't really see much action happening out there. We still have a bit of time for Asiana Airlines to come through. So let us have a look at the ATC control tower. And then we have Jetstar out here just moving across. The sun is coming out, but it's cloudy, I would say. And that's the reason we don't really see much of that sunlight falling on the planes and much of that silhouette as well. But at the same time, you know, in a way it is good and bad. It's good for us because we don't get that silhouette as of now, but it's going to be bad for us later on in the day because that's when we want to see that nice shiny liveries on the aircraft, especially Juneyao Air, which today will be departing with the Oriental, the Ruby livery. So that is something that we came here for, and we are glad that we could capture it in the first place. Alrighty, 30 minutes past 7. Another Dash 8-400. Hey Sinal, welcome back, welcome. There's an island in Lakemba in Fiji closer to Suwa. Sorry, I didn't get you, Sinal. What exactly did you mean when you said there's an island? Oh, okay, sorry, okay, I got it. So you're saying there's an island called Lakemba Island in Fiji closer to Suwa. Oh yes, Senile, I have been to Lakemba very many a time, and Punchbowl is, yes, Punchbowl is a great place too. Yeah, so that's very nice to know. Let us capture this boat out here. Yeah, great start to the Sunday, right? No complaints. Where is our aircraft? OZ601. Come on, we are waiting for it. Just a bit more of time, I believe. Hello Winnie, hello, welcome back from New Zealand. Hello, how are you doing, Winnie? Hoping the weather in New Zealand is great, just as great as Sydney. How are you doing? Hoping everything is well with you, Winnie, and wishing you a very nice and great weekend. Alright, we'll just need to pan around here to capture this aircraft. Batike. It's pure business for Batike. No livery, no nothing. Let's just get straight to business. Pick up passengers, drop the passengers. But anyway, OZ601 Asiana Airlines Boeing 777-200 landing here in Sydney. Let's see if we can see that smoke out there. Yes, we did get a bit of fit. And out here, Asiana Airlines, Boeing 777-200. Hopefully this summer season we get the Airbus A380 of Asiana Airlines once again. It's always a pleasure to spot Asiana Airlines Airbus A380 out here. Alrighty, just about time that we do get a view of Singapore Airlines Airbus A380, not A380, Boeing 777. Should be here shortly, hopefully. Senile says there is over 350 islands in Fiji. It takes 4 hours to reach Fiji in Nadi International Airport. Oh, yes, I do know that, but I didn't know there's over 350 islands out there. So that's going to be wonderful. Have you visited any of those islands? I'm pretty sure, Senile, you would have visited those islands out there, those beautiful islands, and have had a great time across in your earlier years out there in Fiji. Hoping, you know, everything's gone well with you that time as well as even now. 7:34 p.m. a.m. sorry. I wish it was 7:34 p.m. with this sort of brightness. It will be so nice for us to spot planes, and hopefully later this year we can do it as such. Or for that we need two things. Everything needs to go well. Second, the global situation has to improve, which means we'll be having the Arab brothers come back, that is Etihad, Qatar Airways and Emirates with their evening arrival flights. Of course, Qatar Airways comes with its Airbus A380 in the evening during usual time, but now during the wartime, that service has been discontinued, replaced by the A350 and things like that. So yeah, we do hope everything gets back to normal out here in the world, and that is going to help us be perfect. Alrighty, Vinny says, perfect weather here in Auckland all week, brother. From what I see, Sydney is looking great too. Indeed, Sydney is actually looking quite great. We did have a bit of rain last night, and whilst I was driving to the airport this morning, we did have a bit of wet roads. The earlier arrivals in the day, we did see them splashing quite a bit of water when thrust reversers were used. However, now we see the sun nice and out. It's still going to be a bit cloudy this morning, but hopefully later in the day it's going to get much better. Yeah, now we get the total silhouette effect because the sun is out, so we need to wear a hat. So give us a moment, we will just wear a hat and be back. Batike, the no-nonsense livery, no nothing livery, just carry passengers, take them from one place to another. I love that sort of a thing. Sinal says, they lived in Vanuatu Levu Island back in 1960. Grandfather had a business in Vanuatu Levu small island. Takes 45 minutes from Suva to Vanuatu Levu by aeroplane, from Suva airport to Vanuatu Levu Island. Okay, thanks for sharing that with us. Thank you very much, Sunal, for sharing. Of course, we appreciate. It's been quite a lot of history out there since last week, and we do appreciate you sharing all of that with us. Alrighty, we should be getting the nice Boeing 777-300ER. Here you are, Singapore Airlines, registered as 9VSWK. Those who don't know, this aircraft arrives as SQ211 the previous night, so this one would have arrived around 7:15, which is the usual arrival time here in Sydney. Usually arrives a bit earlier unless there's a delay out there in Singapore. I did arrive on it in March and April. April 1 was fine, arrive on time. The one in March, of course, it arrives at a little later because daylight savings and stuff like that, but we arrived quite a lot more later, considering the fact that there was a bit of an issue with the cargo net not being available for the very aircraft. So they went to one of the cargo planes, got one, and then got stuff done for the plane that we were traveling on. So it did take some time. There was quite a bit of delay out there. Alright, Sinal says, grandfather had a business in farming and had a shop too in Vanuatu Levu, small island. The grandfather was born in India. Yes, you did tell us about that yesterday, and we appreciate you having told us that. Not yesterday, I mean last week. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sinal, for letting us know about it. Alright, Philippine Airlines from Manila, PR 201. If I'm not mistaken, I just said it from the back of my head. Not too sure. Yeah, see, I was indeed wrong, and that's PR211. So yes, if I am wrong with anything, please feel free to correct me, because sometimes we don't really check flight radar, considering the fact that we are trying to capture all of the action, so we could possibly miss out. But apart from that, it's a wonderful one. Hello, Runway Sydney Airport. Good day. Hope you're having a great time. Alrighty, we are just awaiting the departure of that SQ211 service. That's the Boeing 777, as well as we are also waiting for the arrival of the Airbus A380 that is of Singapore Airlines. That is quite late in the day, not now, but still, let us capture a few other planes as such. Alright, so Runway Sydney Airport says it is very loud. What's very loud? Is our voice very loud? Like, what really happened? Probably, I think the microphone would be capturing most of the noise, I believe. Air Asia X, Sonic the Hedgehog livery. Let's capture that. Woohoo, woohoo. Here for you all. Sonic the Hedgehog livery of Air Asia. Alright, yeah, I just believe that the microphone will be capturing a lot of the audio today, but apart from that, it's pretty normal. And yeah, there's not much we could do. Runway Sydney Airport, so yeah, that's how it is. Alrighty, so now you say the grandfather had an agricultural business, small islands in Vanuatu Island. Okay, Sheldon from Sinal Hussain, Punch Bowl suburb. Yep, thank you very much for letting us know. Thank you, thank you. Alrighty, let's capture Singapore Airlines SQ212. That's the Boeing 777-300ER. Wishing everyone a very, very warm good morning out here from Sydney. It is 42 minutes past 7. In fact, now it's 43 minutes past 7. We have SQ212. I've had some great friends out there, and I do know Michelle, the senior flight stewardess. So if you're on this flight, once again, I'm wishing you all a very great flight, and I do hope to see you, Michelle, once again on another flight on Singapore Airlines. Have a great flight, and this flight will arrive about, let's say, 5:10 p.m. Australian local time, which is 3:10 p.m. local time in Singapore. Alrighty, that is super lovely, super lovely. Alright, we'll just get a small break and we will come back to you shortly, so please stay tuned with us. We should be able to maybe come back to you, let's just say in a few minutes. I wouldn't say a few seconds, but maybe a few minutes, but stay tuned with us. And of course, Sinal, I'm glad that you are with us here. Sinal does say lots of people from Fiji Islands migrated to Australia back in the year 1975 and living in Sydney in the year 1975. Okay, that is super wonderful. Thank you very much, Sinal, for joining us, and we will be coming back shortly. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Let's just say in a few minutes. I wouldn't say a few seconds, but maybe a few minutes, but stay tuned with us. And of course, Sinal, I'm glad that you are with us here. Sinal does say lots of people from Fiji Islands migrated to Australia back in the year 1975 and living in Sydney in the year 1975. Okay, that is super wonderful. thank you very much, Sinal, for joining us. And we will be coming back shortly. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Let's just say in a few. All right, we are back once again. We were just testing the sound, as well as we had to adjust the tripod stand. As such, we were having a bit of issue out there, but seems to be okay right now. The tripod stand, even though it was level, I think after panning around so much, because the camera is so heavy and things like that, we did have issues out there. So yeah, right now it seems to be perfect. We have captured that quite well, and everything seems to be working good enough for all of us. Hey Robbie, hey, hello, welcome. Hello, Ellen Lee ATC. Good evening from a pub in the northeast of England. Wow. How are you, Ellen? I'm glad you're watching us from the pub. I'm pretty sure you're having a nice evening time, a pretty much English evening. And what else can we say? I'm glad that you're joining us out here in Sydney, where we are having a nice sunny Saturday morning. Of course, it's going to be a bit cloudy, but yeah, enjoy your evening, Ellen. I'm pretty sure you're having a great time with your mates and with your family. Say hi to your mates and your family. I hope you have a great evening, have a nice, great dinner, and have a great time at the pub. There's nothing better than being in a pub, all right? I mean, we do have a lot of pubs over here in Sydney, Australia, and all across Melbourne and anywhere else in Australia that you go to. But I think nothing beats the feeling of being in one of those nice, authentic English pubs, and that is what we always want to experience. So yeah, I'm jealous of you, Ellen, but at the same time, I wish you all the best, mate. I hope you have a great time out there. Good morning, Robbie. Good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great start to the weekend, and hopefully you've had a great week all across. We cannot really see much of the action as of now, but hopefully we should be getting that action in maybe the next few minutes. Sunil, I would advise you to check what's going on, because I do recollect you told me earlier as well that you could smell some burning. So hopefully it's not something serious. Maybe check around, see what it could be. But I do wish and hope everyone is safe. All right. We have CZ325, China Southern Airlines, Guangzhou to Sydney on the Airbus A350-900 that is just taxiing around the corner. So let us capture that, considering the fact that we have no other takeoffs and arrivals at this very moment. And wishing everyone a very, very good morning from here at Sydney Airport. It is 49 minutes past 7 and 1 hour and 58 minutes since we started streaming. How is everyone's morning looking like? Are you all excited? Are you all happy? Are you all tired from the work week? How was everything? How's everything going with you all? I hope it's been a great one. We aren't having the best of the lighting conditions, so we were just adjusting the aperture and the ISO as well, but seems to be pretty normal for us. In fact, we won't really change much of it considering it's a cloudy day. So definitely it is one of those things that we can't really control as such. We can only work around it. So let us hope for the best. But anyway, hoping everyone's having a great start to the day. We have the Airbus A350 service from Guangzhou to Sydney that has just come out over here. It landed on runway 34R and it has now just been stopped here. Maybe it's just waiting for the smaller aircraft, the Saab 340B, to make its way. Livery to Sydney service, like you see in the screen now. Wow, look at the size difference. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, Sinal does say it must be from the bushfire from Friday date 1st May, yeah, which was yesterday. So yes, I do hope everything's going well and no damage and stuff. If there's no damage, everyone's safe, we are all good with it, and that is what we want. We don't really want anyone to be harmed. We just want everyone to be nice and safe, and that is how it actually goes. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, mates. Thank you, Ellen. That's so generous of you. Hey, everyone. Thank you. Ellen has just sent us across 5 super lovely English pounds. 5 beautiful pounds. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, sir. We appreciate it. How great it is that people from all across the world, they watch us. We have Alan out here just watching us and then sends us across 5 British wonderful and beautiful pounds. Can we even complain about that? No, not at all. We shouldn't be. So thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Alrighty, just seems to be a bit of a lull at this very moment out here, but that doesn't mean the action is over. We will be having quite a lot of it coming shortly. Hey, Winnie Banks. Whoa! How did we miss that one? Wow, lucky us. Oh yeah, so Winnie Banks, what I was saying is, wow, I love that. I wish I could do that in front of the camera someday. Hopefully we will get that done. And here we have another wonderful China Eastern Airlines Airbus A330-200. Lovely China Eastern MU 2021 from Wuhan. Whoa, okay. So all this while I'm thinking that we have to adjust our aperture and the contrast and things like that. But as we now try getting a look of the ATC tower, you all can see it's not clear at all. Wow. No doubt we were struggling with the visuals as such. For a moment I thought we do have an issue with the camera, and then I thought, okay, maybe it's a cloudy day and we are having issues with the aperture or the contrast or things like that. But now we get to see it's not a clear day whatsoever. Wow, that's quite a late realization, considering the fact that on this side where we are standing, there's nothing much, but rightly so. It could probably be because the old ATC tower building is behind us. So, we can't really feel that as such. Alright, Sinayal does say, Sheldon, even the sky is not clear in Sydney Airport on your live stream today. Yes, it is not clear. Like you can see, even right now, we don't even have a clear view of the ATC tower. The ATC tower is usually one of the clearest views that we get out from your bang opposite us. And yeah, today that's not the case. So definitely that's not something that we would have expected. As you can see on screen as well, it's like super crazy how it is, but yeah, that's what we can expect. Sinal also says, I can't see clearly in the background right now on your plane spotting today. Yes, Sinal, actually it's not the camera issue or anything. I did think it was a camera issue, but as you can see, the thing is, it's not at all clear. Let me pan around on the left. So that's the ATC. You see it's not clear, and then on this side. But still, let us try capturing Vietnam Airlines and see if we get a good view. Okay, so you can see it's not a clear day whatsoever. Probably just one of that passing phases, maybe that smoke, that fog sort of a thing. Definitely not fog at this hour of the day, 55 minutes past 7. But I do believe it's one of that weather phenomenons. So hopefully that thing clears off and we get clearer visuals, because I don't really want to miss out on those very special aircraft livery, the Sonic the Hedgehog livery of Air Asia X, as well as the Oriental Ruby livery of Juneyao Air, which will be traveling to Shanghai shortly. So you see, this is the perfect thing that I'm talking about. Okay, it's cleared up slightly, but we still do have that clarity issues in the back. Definitely it's one of that weather phenomenons. Hopefully it's going to clear off soon, and that is really going to help us out. So let us stick to this scene for now and see how well it clears. Okay, because just a couple of minutes ago it wasn't as clear. Right now it looks slightly clearer, so I think we'll leave our camera settings as such for now, and hopefully it's going to get much better later on. Okay, I think it was one of that passing phases of smoke or something that way, it's not been clear all across. Last night was another thing. Today seems to be, of course, it was temporary, I believe, but at least we see much more clearly compared to a few minutes ago. And that is what we want. We don't really want the scene to, get spoiled, and we miss out on quite a lot of things. That is the last thing that we would want for this stream, especially considering the fact that we today have quite a lot of those very good, not quite a lot, in fact, just a couple of special liveries as such. Anyway, we have UA 839 coming in from Los Angeles on the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Yeah, just in time to catch it. Hey Damien, welcome back to the stream. Damien, how are you doing? Okay, so Damien does say smoke haze hazard reduction burn around Sydney. Yeah, that explains the thing. Thanks, Damien, for letting us know. We did check the weather updates like earlier today, last night, for our preparations for today's live stream, but this is something that we didn't expect and we didn't see it. But thanks for letting us know. Thank you very much. So that smoke haze is what is actually causing the issue out here. Yeah, let us hope that smoke haze does clear up in time, because we do have Juneyao Air that will be departing later in the day, as well as Air Asia X. Both of them have special liveries, and both of them are the liveries that I have spotted for the first time this morning. Of course, this morning, considering the fact that the sun rises so late compared to other times of the year, we didn't have a good view of Juneyao Air as well as Air Asia X. Air Asia X was more sort of silhouette because the sun was shining right in our face, but we do hope to get a good view of Air Asia X, Sonic the Hedgehog livery, and Juneyao Air with its Oriental Ruby livery when they depart later today. Let us see. Fingers crossed everything works well. Alrighty. Whilst we don't see those metal birds, let us spot this bird. Yeah. Having a nice breakfast, right? Yeah, go on. Enjoy. And whilst we are here, wishing everyone a very good morning. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you are all having a wonderful time wherever in the world you all are. I do know Ellen is having a great time in one of those authentic English pubs. And once again, Ellen, thank you for your generosity. We appreciate your kind gesture. It never goes unnoticed. Thank you very much. It does help us bring much more of this aviation content to you all. It does help us invest quite a lot of into a lot of equipment out here. As you all know, we have come a long way through since we started streaming. We first started streaming just through the YouTube app, and then we go on to another streaming application without any overlays and such. Since last week, last Saturday I believe, or perhaps last Sunday I believe, we started with overlays, and then we did have issues with the Zoom at that very moment with that software, and then we ironed out the Zoom issues on Sunday night, and come Monday we had some issues with the clarity, which again we solved it right then and there on Monday. So yes, your kind generosity, Alan, does really help us quite a bit. And each and everything that we receive from out here, we do put it, we do reinvest, because this is a commercial production for us. We are literally registered here in Sydney, Australia as a commercial production company, and we put in all of the proceeds that we get from our live streams and from our videos into making this channel a much more better place to visit and be entertained. Of course, we put a lot of that proceeds to our live streams, because live streams are the ones that we don't really want to fail as such. There's quite a lot of things that could go wrong in a live stream, especially considering we are a small channel as such. So it could be anything from your tripod failing, or perhaps one of those mounts failing. We do have 2 phones out here, the power banks failing and stuff like that. Just last week we had an accident where the power bank fell to the ground from the tripod, and it had a big gash out there, and we were a bit afraid that we could possibly have a fire. And considering the fact that we are so close to the airport, we did not want any attention whatsoever, because explaining to the airport authorities and things like that would of course be another big issue. Not that we are doing anything bad intentionally, but you always want to stay out of trouble, and especially at the airport, you really don't want to get into trouble whatsoever. So that's one of the things that we were actually trying to do. All right, the 50th anniversary livery, Papua New Guinea on Air Niugini for the 3rd time in a week. We captured it last Sunday, captured it today, as well as we captured it last Monday too. So wonderful. I hope they depart from runway 34L. It's going to be nice. So yes, Ellen, like I was saying, we do invest quite a bit into our live streams as well, so that we can bring one of the best live streams all across. And to anyone watching, and to everyone watching right now, it is very humbling for us. We are considered the 2nd best aviation YouTube channel and one of the heavyweights out here at Sydney. So that in itself is quite a big achievement for us. Mind you, we don't have the subscriber count like other channels out here, but to be considered one of the heavyweights here at Sydney, especially number 2, that means quite a lot to us. So yes, we will continue doing what we do for our brand here at Sydney Airport Aviation. Our channel is all about providing pure enthusiastic views of planes on the runways. Just get documentations of our planes, of our plane journeys. In fact, we try to get a lot of them. We do have quite a lot of them, just no time to edit as such. But this is the thing, a very simple channel trying to bring all of that entertainment to you, pure enthusiastic entertainment from Sydney Airport and airports from all across the world. Other airports that we have filmed at is Los Angeles International Airport and Tokyo Haneda Airport earlier this year. Tokyo Haneda is where everything began. All right, Air Niugini 50-year anniversary of Papua New Guinea, and let us see what we have here. EK 412. We saw this aircraft arrive earlier today. This was the first arrival of the day after the curfew from Dubai, and now it is making its way to Christchurch. Just about an hour ago, we spoke about this aircraft, that it usually rotates quite early, and hopefully it can rotate early today as well, and it should be a great one for us. Let's hope everything goes well. How good is that? How wonderful. I'm guessing they would be pretty light, especially in terms of fuel, like how we discussed earlier today. But at the same time, in terms of passenger numbers, I'm not too sure. Though Sydney to Christchurch seems to be quite a busy route over here between Sydney and Christchurch. Quite a lot of airlines. Qantas, and New Zealand flying throughout the day, so definitely there'll be quite a lot of people out there as well. I do believe that there would be a couple of people who do travel to Auckland and stuff, or taking this service as well, and perhaps they could have boarded the flight from Dubai. Yeah, you can't really stay on the flight when it does arrive in Sydney. You've got to deboard and then, come back again, because cleaning and safety, security issues and things like that. But I do believe it's going to be quite a relaxed flight right now. And the very fact that an A380 is capable of carrying about, multiple 100,000 liters of fuel, and for very long haul flights, and right now they are just doing about a 3-hour flight to Christchurch. They will be very, very light on that fuel weight out here. And wishing everyone a very, very good morning. Thank you everyone for joining us on this live stream. It's a pleasure to have you all this Saturday morning. Of course, we do plan to stream tomorrow morning as well. Hopefully we can get much more of those special liveries. We did get the special livery of Juneyao Air this morning with the Oriental Ruby livery, as well as the Sonic the Hedgehog livery on Air Asia X. That is something we didn't even expect, because we usually check flight radar for special liveries quite early on in the evening. So definitely Air Asia X, the Sonic the Hedgehog livery would have been assigned quite late on in the day. So yeah, that is something that we didn't check. So it was quite a nice surprise for us. All right, Sydney to Port Moresby on Air Niugini, Papua New Guinea 50, your livery for the third time on our channel in less than a week. We captured it this past Sunday, this past Monday, and today again. The very fact that it is cloudy today, we get a very good view of the livery. How good is that? Wonderful. Yeah, that is super wonderful. And let's get ready for the king of the skies, Emirates A380 service, not to Dubai. No, that is not what you think. It is Christchurch EK412. Alrighty, let's just say about in the next hour, we will also be having the departure action being all across. As you all know, we usually don't have the departure action about that time during the summer months, but during the winter months, that is the standard time, we do have that action. But what that really does cause is the streams to get over quite early. Usually during summertime we come in about the same, and start streaming around 6, and we get done with the stream about 1:32 at times. We've had 8-hour streams as well, but right now usually the morning departure peak does get over by 12 or so, which is quite an early thing, and it's totally understandable. Usually you would expect it to get over at 1 during the daylight savings time, so that speaks for itself. It's just the time difference as such. All right, Melbourne to Sydney service, the first of Melbourne to Sydney service. We did have Sydney to Melbourne that we captured. Melbourne to Sydney, we have captured it now. I'm pretty sure there would have been a lot of other aircraft on the other side, that is runway 34R, that would have arrived and departed Melbourne to Sydney, but this one we just get it now, and we are happy to get it. Qantas's Boeing 737. Hello Nian, hello, and wishing you a very, very good morning. Hope you're doing well this Saturday morning. Thank you very much for joining us on our live stream. I'm pretty happy the skies have cleared. It's a bit cloudy, but that is no complaint whatsoever. As long as we get great visuals, that's fine. I think I did complain a bit when it got a bit smoky out there, but Damien was kind enough to let us know that there was smoke haze hazard from the burns out there. But yeah, pretty happy that it's not affecting us much. For one moment, yes, it did affect us. We didn't get a very good view of Vietnam Airlines A350 that came in from Ho Chi Minh City, but we should be all good to go now. EK412 Sydney to Christchurch service, registered as A6EUT, built in January of 2017. It is a 9-year-old aircraft, and it's going to be with Emirates for, let's just say, another 14-15 years, I believe. All right, wishing everyone a very, very good morning, joining us from all across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's have a look at Emirates A380 EK412 service to Christchurch. This very aircraft was the first to arrive here in Sydney after the curfew this morning. Whoa. Super! How smooth was that? How smooth! It never fails to amaze me, no matter how many times I travel on an Airbus A380, no matter how many times I see one take off and land. It'll never fail to amaze me. And I'm glad we could bring that action to you all. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us once again on this awesome live stream this morning. We are pretty stoked that we do have this awesome day, when even though there's the smoke haze hazard, we are actually getting a good view. Usually we will get a silhouette view of the plane right now as we see on screen, but considering the fact that it's nice and cloudy today, we are getting a very good view. So it's lucky us, lucky you, and we are glad that we can bring such visuals to you all. Once again, 2 aircraft in the scene. That's for the 3rd time, and twice in this very same stream we had 3 aircraft in the scene, wherein 2 aircraft were taxiing and 1 was taking off. Alrighty, so now I'm considering whether I should take off my hand gloves or no, because it's not sunny anymore, so I wouldn't be tanned with the sun. But let us see, it's still quite a lot of time before we can make that decision. We do have Adelaide to service coming in from Adelaide to Sydney service coming in on runway 34 left, not on. Apologies for that. All right, we do have Jetstar JQ14 coming in on runway 34 right, and not the one that you see now, the one later that will be Kansai Osaka to Sydney. Wow, That's usually not an aircraft that I spot often. Virgin Australia, Adelaide to Sydney service. Woohoo! Great to capture all of these aircraft now, especially in this nice, on this very nice cloudy day. It just helps us. No silhouette, no nothing. Great visuals. Alrighty, let us just pan around and show you all what we see. Okay, no prizes for guessing. No prizes for guessing. Okay, you all know which aircraft this is. Alright, QF12 Los Angeles to Sydney service on the Airbus A380 registered as VHOQD. That's the fourth A380 that was built for Qantas, built in November of 2008. Alrighty, and whilst we speak, what do we have here? Cathay Pacific. Yeah, wonderful livery. We did see this aircraft coming in this morning, one of the first arrivals. And we will just go to Qantas, capture Qantas nice and easy. The homegrown airline out here. Definitely have to give it to them for flying another Airbus A380 from Los Angeles. And very shortly after this one, wow. Caught that smoke. And very shortly after this Qantas A380, we'll be having another one coming in from Dallas-Fort Worth. They all look super beautiful at this very moment because it's just a cloudy day, no silhouette, and that is what is helping us get a very, very good view. Nice. That's the Australian way, and that's the spirit of Australia, Qantas. CX110 Sydney to Hong Kong Airbus A350-900 registered as BLRO. Age of the aircraft 9 years, built in April of 2017. Still looks nice and new, and I do believe they are going to be here for quite some time as well. Of course, the A350 seems to be one of the most successful aircraft, so definitely that program wouldn't be ending anytime soon, unless, you know, we totally get a new aircraft altogether. But whilst we speak, let us pan around to Jetstar. Even Jetstar today looks nice and bright. Why is it so? Okay, I do understand that we don't have the silhouette effect, but we do see Jetstar seems to be nice and bright on the Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. And this one is from Kansai, Osaka, Japan. Yeah, it looks really beautiful. You don't hear very many people speaking about Jetstar looking beautiful, but indeed this one does look beautiful. Of course, it's going to look much more beautiful when we have all of those Jetstar aircraft with the newer livery. That seems to be much more nicer and brighter, I would say. Alright, as we are done with that, let us pan around the side. And this is another Qantas A380, and this time from Dallas-Fort Worth. How long has it been? 16 hours and 35 minutes since departure. 16 hours and 36 minutes now since departure. Registered as VHOQK. Delivered or perhaps built in April of 2011, 15 years old, Qantas Airbus A380. For any of you wondering, most of the people, or in fact all of the people out there on this very plane will have been on the aircraft for more than 17 hours, which means they've been there inside for more than 1,000 minutes on that aircraft. Wow. And I do believe they'll be there on the aircraft for another 10 minutes or so, considering the taxi time and the opening time, and especially people right at the back of the aircraft will take much more longer. Good morning, Cayenne Adelaide. So it's Cayenne Adelaide, is it? Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you a very nice Saturday. How are you doing, Cayenne? Hoping everything's well with you. Yes. It's always good to capture the spirit of Australia, Qantas. And there we are getting ready for Cathay Pacific's departure. CX110, Sydney to Hong Kong service on the A350-900. Let's get ready, guys. Hopefully we can get to see a nice rotation. I think they are just waiting to clear Cathay Pacific until these aircraft clear off the active runway. Yep, so they are done now, just off the active runway, and I believe we should be able to see Cathay Pacific roll down. They have lined up and are waiting. Hey Cayenne, cool, that's nice. I wish you a great day, Cayenne. Hopefully everything goes well with you and your family and friends. Alrighty, let us try getting a good look of Cathay Pacific. Hopefully we can get the rotation out in front of us if it's not too heavy. Yep, alrighty, so guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it seems to be, it is about to rain. We have raindrops falling on us already, so we don't really know what to do. We probably may have to end the stream, and yep, if the rain does stop completely, we may come back again, but for now we will end the stream. Thank you very much, everyone.